Hi, I'm Hannah Herbert-Hunt, and I'm the book writer for The Journey Home, a new musical with music and lyrics written by my dad, Keith Herbert.
Hi, I'm Keith Herbert, composer, lyricist, and collaborator for the musical The Journey Home. In the 70s, I started writing a musical piece for big band titled Spaceflight Piece, but I didn't get too far with it and later abandoned it. But the idea of a space musical stayed with me.
The Journey Home is about 10 plus years in the making. My dad first had the idea for it back when I was a kid, and I grew up listening to him describe the plot and fell asleep to him working on music in the other room.
In 2006, I started writing music and lyrics for the Journey musical story. I had work for God's Country, Houston, and Small World, though the titles were mostly different and the songs were vastly different. But those three songs are still in the musical today.
Deep thoughts that can pierce the veil on the journey to break through the haze. Mind's eye that can sense the clues, how it works in mysterious ways. Ask why in my knowledge endeavor. Seek the tools to explore. Learn more if indeed I am clever. Serve the quest for truth at its core. In God's country.
It wasn't until about 2 years ago when I was taking a playwriting class in college that my dad proposed the idea that I write the book for this. And at first I felt very out of my element. It was a science fiction musical. I'd only ever written short one acts and they were never science fiction. But my dad had been a diehard fan of so many different science fiction authors and movies and TV shows. And I watched Star Wars and Doctor Who, so I was definitely in a place where I had a lot to learn.
When I was young, I didn't like to read all that much, except for Homer Price and the Donut Machine. But when I was 12 years old, I discovered science fiction. And at that point, I started collecting science fiction books and reading science fiction. And this is my science fiction collection today. This whole bookshelf, I feel like too thick, is all science fiction books. I just love the genre with the space exploration and the interesting people and characters and the science and adventure.
The Journey Home takes place a few hundred years in the future on a generation arc bound for a new planet outside our solar system. The purpose of the arc is very simple: to start a new colony on a new planet. But the people you meet were born on this arc and will never see anything more. They've never seen Earth, and they're not seeing the planet they're heading towards.
I'm a firm believer that humans will someday travel to a distant solar system. I'm very hopeful for that human achievement. But the challenges are enormous because the distances are so vast. At the current rate of travel, it would take tens of thousands of years to get to the nearest star system. So what we've done is we've set the story 500 years in the future or so, and assume that at that time, spacecraft will be able to attain speeds of about 10 million miles per hour average speed. Incidentally, that's still 67 times slower than the speed of light. So no, there's no time travel, no warp drive.
What really drew me to the story is getting to learn about the humans in which will never see Earth and will never see the planet they're headed towards. What is life like when you have very strict limitations on how you can live your life because your world was built for you and you'll never know anything more? We very early on established some kind of complications that a lot of other science fiction plots might not think about. Like, what if someone has to live on a spaceship their entire life? but they're claustrophobic.
If everything's so wonderful, you have to be wondering why. I'm hanging here outside. Claustrophobia.
Or what if your only knowledge of Earth was from the film archives of it? And what kind of sense of this place would you get if that's all you knew about it?
I'm going to Houston, but there's no need to cry. I know you all miss me, but I'm saying goodbye. Might have to loosen all the rules they have set. Take note, I'm leaving no regret. I'm going to Houston and there's no turning back. Not taking lightly to be frozen on the rack. I know that I confuse them, it's not a false display. I figure that's just fine in my own way. My journey home.
Just this last February, we staged a reading in New York with Hannah and 7 actor-singers, just to get a feeling for how the story and songs would be received.
What really drew me to the story is that while, yes, it's an out there science fiction plot, it's at its heart about humans and about the inherent human need for love and exploration.
For this we thank you.
You give us life.
For this we thank you. You give us love.
For this we thank you. You are the river that keeps flowing along.
The river keeps flowing. The river keeps flowing. The river keeps flowing along.
So now we're ready to start presenting the musical to the public. We're going to present the songs and the dialogue leading into them in chronological order. We're going to post this content on Patreon, and we'll add new content and new songs and new features as time goes on.
Eventually, we would love to stage a full production of this, but in the meantime, while we're still developing the show, we want to just gain support and see where the worlds of science fiction fans and musical theater fans collide.
We hope you enjoy the musical, The Journey Home, and share it with your friends. Oh, and there are Easter eggs of science fiction books and authors. So someday there'll be a key, but for now, see if you can find some of them.
In God's country.